Pieter Omtzigt, welcome to the Media Box, first of all. You're the rapporteur on this report on conditions in Poland. How bad is it there? Because there has been a story of suppression of the rule of law even.
There's been a persistent deterioration. There have been a number of reforms, and it's okay that the Polish want to reform the justice system because the justice system is slow and it has got problems. But in the reforms of the justice system, the Polish government has subordinated the Polish justice system to the government, which means that the Prosecutor General and the Minister of Justice are the same person. So there's no independent prosecution. Even worse, the Minister of Justice, as the Prosecutor General, can actually directly interfere in cases. He can also nominate judges and the presidents of the courts. He can move people to other courts. And the self-regulatory body which there was, the National Council, was elected by judges and is now fully elected by the Polish Parliament, where one party has the majority. So also the self-governing body has been put under political control. Then there are two new chambers in the High Court, which can even reopen cases where there is already a final verdict. The Venice Commission has written 5 very critical opinions, and the Poles have done really nothing with it. The European Commission has opened Article 7 proceedings, but they can be vetoed by one other country, so they will not go much further. And the European Court has issued a number of rulings, and the Poles did abide by the first ruling when they lowered the retirement age to get rid of a number of judges. They had to reinstate those judges. But the recent judgment, we're not so sure whether they will obey with them. That means that other courts, like in Ireland, have already decided that they will first see whether the Polish courts are independent courts before they, for instance, extradite someone. Because while we're working in the European Union with 27 or 28 countries, you trust each other's court. And now the Venice Commission says, hang on, we think the Polish courts do not comply with Article 6 and Article 10 of the European Convention. Article 6 is the independence and impartiality of the courts, so you have a fair trial, very, very important in the rule of law. And Article 10 is the freedom of expression and the freedom of association. And the judges don't have that freedom of expression with regards to their own organization.
How will the European arrest warrants work in a case like this? Because they're supposed to work without any need for extradition procedure. It's not going to happen in the case of Poland, is it, when people are arrested there?
Well, one of the things we say is we don't think you should invalidate all European arrest warrants, because there are enough cases when someone does something in Poland or something, he should be extradited. But we think that courts should check the arrest warrants before they execute it, so they should not do it automatically. And that is a big step backwards in some degree, but unfortunately it's warranted. And the big change in the report was that a very large majority today decided that Poland is now on the monitoring. It's the only EU country to be on the monitoring, and that's a very, very clear signal to Warsaw.
Is it enough pressure on Warsaw, though, to make them change their minds, because they've been ignoring the Venice Commission and the Commission so far?
Well, we've seen with Malta, they've tried to ignore as well, and at some point they will dialogue with us. They promised to have a dialogue. Let's see whether they are ready to have one, because it's exactly on that thing of, do we trust that the courts are independent enough to execute the judgments where things go wrong? And that's why the Council of Europe, the Parliamentary Assembly, has now made this very clear statement today.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.